Hi, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of Devil's Advocate Trades Edition. Today is an interesting day because it is one that I've been waiting for a long time for my podcast. I created my platform for owners like Todd, an owner of A to Z Building Solutions. Todd has been, in his opinion, wrongfully persecuted, but we're going to let him tell his side of the story. There was a CTV news article, and I'm going to give a shout out to his beautiful daughter, Tamara. She posted on the Facebook page under Calgary Construction and Renovation. And it came up on my feed, her story about what had happened with her dad and his company. And I reached out right away and said, hey, come be a part of my podcast if this is something you want to talk about. Now, doing further investigation between myself and my producer, we have found that this is a very interesting situation because we do see the unfairness that has been displayed by CTV, which is really unfortunate, and their journalism. Or they're more particular, they're journalists. So, Todd, I am so glad you're here. Please, let's talk about your story.
Thanks so much for having me. So I started a job with Donna Prenell, and sorry, I'm just trying to remember her husband's name. So anyway, I started this job. Everybody knows it's on CTV News. It was in Avydale. Should I say addresses? Is that
Don't say
okay?
the address. No, we're not doxing people.
Okay.
You can say
So
the
we don't want to
community.
say
That's
that.
fine.
Okay. Long story short, when I met this woman and started doing the renovation for her, from the beginning, it was a nightmare. She would yell at the staff. When we first started, the basement was full of whoever was, I think it was her dad's home before he passed away, and he was a hoarder, and the basement was full. So we took it all out of the basement for her, no charge, brought it to the garage. Then and during that process, right at the beginning, she started yelling at the staff about, don't touch that, don't move this, don't move that, just barking orders, which is fine. We got everything to the garage, and then we took a whole bunch of stuff to the dump for her. Once again, I didn't charge her for that, and started this renovation. And every time we did something, she would basically say, can you change this? Can you do this? Can you do that? And we would try to make her happy. Part of the news story is that she didn't approve the drawings. Now we have 3 drawings. We sent one. She said no. We sent 2. She said no. We sent the 3rd one. She said yes, but we need to add a pantry. So we were fine with that. Just one sec.
Get me the documents. I want to see them. Put them up to the camera.
Oh, okay, sure.
Do you have the drawing that she approved?
I do.
Was it a verbal approval or was it a written one?
Yeah. So the most important thing about this approval, which she knows, is that when she approved the 3rd drawing, it was on her fridge. We put it on the fridge for all the employees to see. When you walk in the main floor, it was on the fridge. So if anyone had to look at it, they could look at it. So I have
Okay.
3, and I apologize. I just literally walked in from work,
No, that's okay.
but I will find it.
It's all good.
And
So
this is,
while you're looking for it,
yeah,
so do you have an actual written approval of it? Do you have something where
no.
okay. So
So,
we know in construction world, that's a
yeah,
fat no-no, right?
right. Yeah,
Okay. Because that's a scope creep, is it not? Because your
it is.
original task was to do the basement.
Right.
So what you're going to get from my side, Todd, and don't get frustrated, is that I am an owner's representative. So I'm going
Right.
to point out where some of your mistakes were so that maybe these escalations don't happen later on. It's totally not me coming at you because what's happened and to
Yeah.
where it has escalated is completely unfair, and how the story was shaped was really unfair. It's very biased.
Right.
So that's what we want to straighten out. So that's the first thing, is you have a scope creep, which means you need a whole new approval process and all this stuff. So the fact that you went out and did that, which a lot of contractors do, is an absolutely amazing thing. But
Yeah.
unfortunately, we run into people like this who are like, well, now you're charging me this and that. Remember, when you and I were talking online, I had said to you, when you sent me all of your invoicing, because
Yeah.
it's all very well established. It has everything written down. It's detailed. It talks about what's going on. It gives a price. It's better than most typical contractors. Okay.
Right.
So I can see that you take pride in what you're doing, especially when you're sending those invoicing. But where I had talked to you, I said you'd made a mistake, was you needed to extrapolate those charges of the additional scope creep that happened and put it on a completely separate invoice. Because now
Right.
they have this full invoice and they're like, oh, you only said you were going to charge 50K and now we're 76,000. Well,
Right.
did anyone bother to talk about all of the other stuff? So that's what we're talking about. You said she wanted it redone, so she wanted the upstairs. So let's talk about what you did upstairs. What did you do
Right.
upstairs? Tell me everything that was in your scope creep.
Okay. So this is what happened. So everything that we did upstairs is we ran gas to the stove upstairs. I kept telling her she needs gas because she's over her electrical load count. She would start yelling and saying, I don't want any gas in the basement. I said, then you've got to up your meter. You've got only 100 amp. You're going to have to go to 200 amp. She said, I can't afford it. I said, then you need gas. Then she said, okay, fine, I'll take gas upstairs. So we ran gas upstairs for a stove upstairs to lower the load count. Then she wanted laundry upstairs, right? Because her basement's being rented out as a legal suite, or her brother was going to end up there. She told me she was going to use it for an Airbnb as well. So I don't know. So upstairs, we did separate laundry, right? We did separate laundry upstairs, including all the electrical, all the venting, walls. We were just about to paint when we got fired. All the flooring, we took out the pony wall because there used to be stairs that go down to the basement. She wanted that separated because she was trying to rent both up and down as a Airbnb. So she wanted wheelchair up and wheelchair down because she said nobody offers this in Calgary. So we took out the stairs, we reinforced it, we put new flooring, took out the wall, and then laid brand new flooring on the main floor and new laundry because her main thing was, and I'm going to be honest, 100% honest here. I was told, okay, her and her husband broke up. He was telling me to hurry up and get the main floor done. She was telling me to get it done so she could get out of the house that they had together and get her in there. She was saying she was depressed because her husband has an addiction and she was getting a divorce and had to get away from him. So I didn't know what to do. She told me her brother wasn't even in a wheelchair yet. She eventually wants to Airbnb all of it. And that's where it went with that upstairs, right? So upstairs was first. Then during that, you got to remember the garage, we ripped out the garage that was on the side of the garage, the door, because the new wheelchair ramp was going there. So we had to move the garage door from the side to the back of the garage with the new door so that we'd have a clear wheelchair run. So we added a new door in the garage. Then she wanted a new window in the living room. On the news, you can see her going down the stairs. The first window she walks by, that's a brand new window. Then when you go down to the new door, that has a lentil that was all engineer approved. So basically, when you look at the news, on our invoice, it clearly says the 50 grand does not include the wheelchair ramp. I'll show it in a second here. It does not include the wheelchair ramp. It does not include extras. So we made that clear. I got to the point, Lisa, where I wouldn't talk to her. I ended up blocking her because it was a scream. She would yell at me, took over. And we've got all that to show, I showed you yesterday, right? Took over. So basically, that's where it started. And every time I would say, be respectful to the staff, she would go off, like just go off. And I told her husband, James, I can't talk to her because he phoned me. And I said, she's mean. She's yelling. She's yelling at our guys. So that's how it started going with Donna, pretty much right off the get go. It was, she would go in her house yelling, has a text saying that it's my house. I'll yell if I want. I can come in my house yelling if I want, which is true. You can do anything you want in your house, but we don't deserve it. My son-in-law didn't deserve it that was there getting yelled at, right?
So, okay. So I'm gonna pause you right there.
Yeah.
So that's a red flag as a contractor because you're being
Yes.
abused, right?
Yeah.
You're being verbally abused. At
Yeah.
which point I would have pulled my crews and I
Yeah.
would have said, until you can not be there or correct how you're going to speak to us, we are not going to do any further work. And when I dismissed my crews, I would have pulled any and all equipment and any material that I had on site would have been gone.
Yeah. I agree.
Do you know what I mean?
And I'm
Because if you're gonna take a hit, don't take the hit for everything else being there. I'd have been like, pull out immediately, be done, get everything in the trucks, get everything that you need to move out of there. Even if you guys had a package dropped, I'd be
right.
calling in for a trailer to come get it. Like,
Yeah.
I would, especially with that much of abuse. And that's where these red flags, and it goes both ways, Todd. You know what I mean? It goes
Yeah.
both ways. There are clients that abuse contractors and there are contractors that abuse clients. And
Yes.
it is what it is. But right now, this is kind of where I sit and look at this and I'm like, this is a contractor saying, I have been wrongfully accused of something, which you are. It's an accusation.
Yeah.
There is no court order. There is no charges laid. There is no nothing. So ADCO was out because
Yeah.
apparently you guys bumped the meter. ADCO
Yeah.
was out. You fixed it. ADCO came and double checked, or did you guys call ADCO as well?
No, so right away we called ADCO, right?
Okay.
Because we had our locates. It was such a tight space. It wasn't hit underground. The tractor slid into it.
Okay.
You see where the meter is. There was
Yeah,
no
yeah, yeah.
room.
That's tight.
So immediately I started 27 years ago, I started in plumbing and gas. I know what to do. ADCO was there in 20 minutes and gone. Like they fixed it right away and gone. No one was in danger.
Yeah.
I told Mark Vanelli this on the news. I said, we fixed it, Mark. And then he's saying, well, she says in her interview or somewhere, she's saying they probably took my money to pay the fine. There was no fine. ADCO didn't fine us. We had our
Yeah.
locates,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
But you're right. There was a ton of red flags. I have just never walked from a job. And
Is that
Lisa,
pride? Yeah. A lot
Yeah,
of entrepreneurs are like that. It's our pride, right? It's like,
it
no, we
is.
said we were going to do something. We've got things in writing. We're
Yeah,
going to finish it. But we've got to stop at some point and say, no.
right.
You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
at the end of the day, your guys don't deserve it. You
no,
don't deserve it. You know, your silent partner doesn't deserve it. No one deserves that. They don't deserve to
no.
be spoken to in a way, right? So this person has already just shown themselves as being somewhat abusive based off of what I understand, right?
Yes,
So with that being said, I think my biggest point of contention is that you have all of the information and you can refute every single thing. And you did with me yesterday. I said, listen, my
yeah,
daytime job is to be an owner's representative where I protect the owners and all
right,
stakeholders involved, which means
right,
that I protect the owners even from some of their own crazy thoughts when they're like, oh,
mm,
I don't like this and I don't like that. And I'm like, you have to wait for them to finish.
right. Yeah,
Like, it's gonna look really wonky to you for the first little while. You're gonna be like, "Oh my god, what did they do? They're slapping mud everywhere. They've got nails in places. The wall doesn't look right." Whatever. A lot of times, that's just it's part of the process. You gotta
right.
wait till it's done,
That's what I always
especially if
say to some.
yeah, especially if everything has been passed by city inspection, which you
Yeah,
showed me. Everything was passed by
yeah,
city inspection, stamped by engineers. Everything is above board. You got your line locates. You showed me all the documents for that.
yes,
Which is I'm a very visual person, so I was like, if you're I'd love to take you at your word, but
yeah. No, I
I would
agree.
be doing myself a disservice if I didn't say especially for someone who calls themselves a professional in the industry that does
Right,
things like this, and one of the biggest things is looking at the paperwork, so thank you for
right.
sending it all to me because
You're
I do
welcome.
have it, I have copies of all of it. Now,
Yeah,
do you have because you only sent me a few, and I wanna talk to you about one of the pictures. You did
right.
send me some pictures of the work that was being done. Do you have a lot of before and after pictures, or did you guys just take select?
So we took select. We don't have before, like when the basement, when we first got there, we don't have before
Got it.
on that one, unfortunately.
Do that from
Uh,
now on. Take a picture of
yeah,
what it looks
I
like before.
usually do. And because now they get that $10,000 rebate. So the city you have to take before,
Mhm.
usually I do it for my customers. But by this time, that's another thing that I got to get out there. We told her that she's been approved, her building permit's been approved, and she can apply for that $10,000.
Mm.
She asked how to do it. So we sent the link and showed her how to get that money. But if she didn't approve the drawings to get that building permit approved,
Mm.
so it shows right there that she approved the drawings and knows she approved them. And I'll show you the text where I said, your building permit was approved, your drawings are approved, I'll apply for your 10K.
Mm.
Send me the link. I don't know how. We sent her the link. You know what I mean? There's just so much.
Well, there's a lot of backup here. So there's things like when
Yeah.
myself and my producer looked at this, we talked about how you need to be reaching out to legal, right? And we found that the story was it was alleged, very framed against you. And so when I talk to you, because this is something that contractors have done far worse things and they don't show up on the news. They're
Right.
not
I
on
know.
CTV news. So
Yeah.
I'm just like, why are you so special?
Right. And the one thing I want to get out there, Lisa, if you don't mind, is you know what? I'm passionate. I'm forceful. Everybody might not like me. And that's fine. I just want to do my job and have their renovation. They work hard for their money. Let's do a beautiful job.
Hmm.
We don't have to be best friends.
Yeah.
I'll do the job. You'll be happy. I promise you that. And I will never rip you off. That's
So
my motto.
I find it interesting that on their news segment, they were only able to locate one other unhappy person, and there was an interesting situation around that. So
Yes.
they mentioned the person's name as Jimmy Dewaliwal, right?
Dollywall. Yeah.
Dollywall, okay. And you said he wasn't even the client.
No. So he wasn't the client. We were working for his dad.
Mhm.
We put a hot water system in the basement for his dad, and his dad decided not to pay me, that he didn't want to pay me. So I called the police. The police came to the house. The police were going to let me rip out the hot water system. He looked at me and the police officer and said, I will pay him by the end of the day. So I said, that's fine. I won't touch it. And we left. Long story short, I never got the money. What he doesn't say too is we did a whole bunch of gas work there that was passed by the city of Calgary. We installed a garage heater that was passed by the city of Calgary. Our HVAC was passed. The only reason he mentions that the plumbing wasn't passed
Mhm.
is because I was done with him before I was done the plumbing. But I had the permits and I hadn't finished the plumbing. So on Reddit, right away, he posted, Todd's the worst person in the world. It's on Reddit. Like if you see Reddit,
Yeah, yeah, I've seen that.
yeah. He said,
We did a
Todd's
deep dive. Myself and my
okay.
producer, we did a deep dive on everybody mentioned in that article.
Right. So I never worked for him, and his dad ripped me off, and I called the cops. And I need everybody to know that because people are thinking that the cops were called on me.
Mhm.
I called the police there
Mhm.
to get my money, and the police were gonna let me rip it out, and he said he would pay me, so I didn't.
Does he still owe you?
Yeah, and what happened there is I called the police back, and he said, "Todd, we can't do nothing now, it's civil."
Why didn't you lean it?
I should have, I know. I'm
How long
busy and I
ago
just
was it? How long ago?
3 years? Yeah.
There's no leaning now.
The only story they found to get on me was Jimmy Dollywall, who wasn't the job through, and it was 3 years ago.
Yeah.
That's all they
Really
got
weird.
on me.
Really weird. Really weird because funny,
Yeah,
even funnier, which should be known, and maybe he should know this, but when you
yeah.
type his name in, there is 2 different Jimmy Dollywalls that come up, and one of them is mentioned as the operator for Dollywall Construction, which had 51 counts of charges back in 2022. So I'm like, maybe be careful.
No kidding.
I was like, "What?" So, I don't
Yes.
think it's the same guy, but, like, Dollywall is a pretty common name, but that's a little
Yeah.
bit wild because I was like, "Ooh."
We've never been charged. Every job we've ever done since A to Z has existed
Yeah,
has been passed by the city of Calgary.
yeah.
Even renovations. If we
Well,
don't do a legal suite, we still
and
permit the development.
and you
You're in this,
and you said
right?
yeah, you said you've been in business for how long now? How long has A to Z been in business?
We're going on our 7th year. 3 weeks ago, the city renewed our license for the 7th year.
Oh, it sounds like you're really under investigation if 2 weeks ago they said you were under investigation and you guys just renewed it.
Yeah, we if we're under investigation, the city should be in trouble because they've approved everything we've done.
I mean, yeah, we could look at it like that, or what we could
Yeah,
say is that that's why it's under investigation because they're wondering why there's approvals. Now,
yeah,
I know who the building
me
inspector
too.
is that's mentioned all through the news article, Mario
Yeah,
Caputo, and
yeah,
I'm like, maybe she has an email from him, but I haven't seen anything, and I'd be pretty hard pressed to think that, I mean, like, I don't know who he is now, but when we were younger, I mean, I
yeah.
don't imagine him sending out something when there's saying that there was safety issues to the public with the excavation when it's an enclosed yard,
Right.
right? Like that becomes private property. People are now trespassing.
Yeah. The
I
public were
find
not
that
around.
yeah, so I find
Yeah,
that interesting, and then this technologist that comes on and says, like, that there's damage to the foundation. Okay, well, it's Abbeydale. What way is it facing? We have bad winters, bad storms, and there's also, like, time. Like, how old is this house?
80 years old. And you know what?
You're definitely the problem, Todd.
I know, it's all me, and we do excavations every day, we do side entrances, and there's no issue. If we see issues, we fix it.
Yeah,
If there's cracks, we fix it.
yeah,
We stucco it. We insulate it.
yeah.
I've got my drawings. Dwayne Seal should have never opened his mouth because you know what I mean?
There's a lot of those guys out there that wanna do, like, "I'm gonna come in," and I wonder if it's for clickbait.
It is.
You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
they say shit and I'm like, "What are you doing?" Like,
yeah,
some of that, yeah, I agree, but it's also not finished, and I'm always
yeah.
the type of person, especially because I'm in trades and I deal with that stuff, I'm like, "Hey, did you guys catch this?" You're
Right,
gonna know right away based on how they react if it was a shortcut they were gonna try to take or if it was actually missed.
right.
And it happens where sometimes, you got so many different moving parts going on in the house. You got different trades in and out. You got your drywallers, you got your framers, you got your painters, you got
Yeah,
all these people are coming, running through, engineers, you know, and something gets overlooked. And not just by one, but by 3 trades and an inspector. And then all of a sudden someone points it out and you're like, holy shit. And then you're fixing it and then you
yeah,
take a picture. I mean, if you're honest, because it seems like everyone has integrity in their back pocket on the other side there
yeah,
that they just leave. But so if you take the picture and send it to the city and say, "Oh, I just noted blah blah, just wanted to keep you posted that this has been
yeah.
rectified and here's the picture." And the city will normally just and if you have and I'm talking about just directly to that inspector. It also is like he's kind of like a thumbs up because we are people. We are
Yeah,
people, right? And that's I think
absolutely.
that's the biggest point of this and this is where I say to you it's so infuriating for me because I did
Yeah,
so much research, Todd, that I'm like, it's coming out of my brains. Like, I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm really upset is that this even made it to CTV. This is a civil matter. This
right.
this shit goes on all the time. This shit goes on
Yeah,
all the time. I was looking and I'll tell you right now. So under the Canadian Broadcast Standards Council, they have
yeah,
a clause in there under their Canadian Association of Broadcasters Code of Ethics 2002 is what I was able to bring up. So if they've renewed them, I would be interested to see what it says now. But it says Clause 5 News. It shall be the responsibility of the broadcaster to ensure that news shall be represented with accuracy and without bias.
Yeah.
Broadcasters shall satisfy themselves that the arrangements made for obtaining news ensures this result. They also they shall also ensure that news broadcasts are not editorial. This goes on, Todd. I'm going to
Right.
send this to you. Like, news
Okay.
shall not be selected for the purpose of furthering or hindering either side of any controversial public issue.
Right.
Right? It goes on and on that would benefit you because this was very biasly set up. So this is
It
where
was.
I'm gonna pull you because I'm gonna say I've already established and we will I mean, like, I have all your documents, so I can circulate those to whomever I need to. But I'll be honest with you, I'm really quite focused on the communications between you and this journalist
Okay.
and then their people. So let's skip ahead here. So you get a call from who?
Mark Vanilli.
Okay, and he's the journalist.
He's the journalist.
And he has an assistant.
He has an assistant named Don Walton.
That's kind of
DAWN. Isn't that weird?
that's weird.
Yeah. He called me. I was in Home Depot. I was in Home Depot. I remember it like it was yesterday. I was buying materials and I got a message and I looked at my phone and Mark Vanilli was CTV News. So I called him back immediately. He said,
Yeah.
Todd, we want to run a story or we want to talk to you about a Donna Prenell, Robin Prenell, right? He said, we want to talk
Mhm.
to you about this. And he started talking to me and I said, what do you want to know? I said, I'm doing a job for this woman. She's been abusive and it's getting out of control. She put fake restraining orders on us, which I'm going to show that in a second. She's
Mhm.
lied. And what do you want to talk about? And he said, well, there's accusations of this. There's accusations of you digging without permission. There's accusations of you taking money and you only quoted $50,000 and now it's up to $70,000. And I said, okay, well, I've got my invoice. I'll show you what happened there. I'll tell you the story. And I started telling the story. And then he said, okay, I'll get back to you. A week later, he gets back to me and he says, I need you to talk to my assistant, Don Walton. I said, fine, I'll talk to Don. So Don emails me and then she says the same thing, Todd, do you want to go on camera? I said, why is this a story? Like I started to say, why are we going to the news? Of course I'll go on camera. I will defend myself. But what are we doing here? And she said, well, you're this, we heard you're this, you're that, you didn't have permits, you didn't. I said, I had everything. And I started sending everything to Mark Vanilli, showing I had everything. I said, Donna, if you're going to put a news story, you need to go on Trusted Pros on my Instagram and talk to my customers and show that we're a good company with all our paperwork and we do amazing work. Her text back to me is we don't air plane.
But no,
In
so
other
then
words,
they only do it for planes with turbulence? Because
right.
last I checked, every plane has turbulence. So
Yes. So
why are you
right. So basically, that's what she's saying. We're
okay.
not here to do a happy story. And at the end of that news story, when you watch it with that news guy, I can't remember his name, his last comment, if you listen to what he says, it makes it look like I'm a bad contractor. It says, do your homework against bad contractors after A to Z. If you really watch that, he's insinuating that I'm a bad contractor.
Well, of course he is, based off of all
Yeah.
the information I saw on there. So
Yeah.
when I called my producer and said, "We need to do this," and he was looking at it and he was like, "What the shit?" And he was an he was an owner and he went through
Yeah.
similar things, right? We've all been there. I'm an owner
We
and I've
have.
gone through things. But here's the
Yeah.
thing. I love when she said he threatened that he would lean me. That's education. You
Right.
don't pay, you get leaned. That's how that
Yeah.
works. So there
Yeah.
is a prompt payment and builder lien act. So if you don't want to get leaned, pay your bill. If you don't like your bill, challenge it in writing so that you provide the contractor the opportunity to explain. If change
Yeah.
orders weren't part of the contracts, which they should always be part of the contract, but we're going
You're
to
right.
say, if there's
Yeah.
no change order, they're allowed to dispute their bill with you within a
Yeah.
certain time frame.
Right.
And if they're not satisfied with that, then you can go back and you can negotiate how you want, or you can say, here's the thing. These are all the things you've asked me to do. And this is where it really bothers me because I get pissed off because I'm going to tell you, as a consultant, I've done scope creep myself and people try to screw me over and they're like, oh, well, we're not
Yeah.
going to pay this because of this. And I'm like, cool, the scope creep that you just did that I was actually going to give you as complimentary, right inside of my invoicing, I have my terms and agreements in every invoice and every estimate has complimentary as part of the terms that says at any point, this is subject to change based on site needs.
Right.
That's what it says. There's my
Yeah.
disclaimer. So I've already told you, I'll give you something
Yeah.
complimentary, but guess what? At any point, I can pull it. If
Yeah.
you're going to act ridiculous and refuse to pay me when I'm going above and beyond at no cost to you, I'm going to lien you. That is not a threat. That is a reality. That is me educating you that there are laws out there to protect consultants and contractors and GCs. There's laws out there to protect them. So
Yes.
that's where
Yes.
I say to you, and you're probably like a lot of guys that are like, listen, I'm not looking to lean all these people and start pissing people.
Right.
You know what? It's okay to shit on you, but it's not okay to put a lean on them. If I were
Right.
you, I'd lean her house. I'd lean it. With everything that's
Yeah.
gone on, I would lean it. The stuff that has happened to you, Todd,
Yeah.
based off of this article, you've lost contracts, haven't you?
Well, I'm over 100 grand. I can prove it. I've
Okay.
lost over $100,000.
So you've lost contracts because of this story running. There's lots of fabrication in it. There is tons of omission from your side. This was framed to make you look like a bad guy.
Yeah.
And we're going to talk about the human side of you. We're going to talk
Right.
about the Todd that is 13 years sober, that has
Yeah.
worked his way out of the ditches and the trenches that are called life, and that
Yeah.
has built this company and built himself back to be a person that employs other people and gives people opportunity, coaches, trains, and mentors your staff so that they
Yeah.
can move on and move up and do better things and have more skill. So
Yeah.
here you have a guy. This is where I get really quite angry. And I say to
Right.
myself, these are the things that have you relapse. These
Yeah.
types of things cause relapse. They cause
Yeah.
homicide. They cause suicide. They cause mental health. These are all the things right here. So when I sit here, my issue is with this journalistic review of what's happened is really quite gross because
Yeah.
it they're nowhere have they done their due diligence. They should have a duty of care, which it says they do. They're supposed to. They're not supposed to have a bias, which was very biased.
Right.
They're supposed to have a duty of care towards both sides because this can cause a lot of damage. And
It
I'm so disgusted that people do this. They wanna just paint one person. Like, I was talking to friends of mine, and they were like, "Oh, this has happened at WestJet. This has
Yeah.
happened at this company. This has happened at this company." People are taking time off. People are taking personal leave because they can't handle the backlash that's come from it because they were
Yeah.
just trying to find solutions. They were just trying to do their job, and they're painted as the villain. And I'm like, "This is gross." Like,
My wife went to the doctor and she took leave from work for 2 weeks. She was so upset she couldn't get out of bed.
yeah.
Like,
And
just
these are things
devastated.
that these are things that are
Yeah.
gross. Like,
Yeah.
there's no regard for anybody. It's all about clickbait. It's all about getting the story
Yeah.
out there. It doesn't matter what it costs, whether it's a human life, whether it's, they don't care. And for
Yeah.
me, it's so irresponsible. Will I talk shit about people? Yeah, but I'll do it to their face.
Me too.
That's the
Yeah.
difference, right?
Me
You know
too.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, someone comes to me and says, "Oh, Lisa, I heard you called me a bitch." Yep, sure did.
Yeah.
What's
Thank
your
you.
question? Yeah, what's your
Yeah.
question? You know? And they're like, "Oh, well," and I'll be like, "Yeah, well, you were acting like a bitch the other day." So I said, "You're being a bitch. You're
Right.
a bitch." And they're
Yeah.
like, "Get past it." Do you know what I mean? I'm struggling with that news portion, especially with her saying, "We don't do stories about planes landing." Fucking
Oh,
cool story, bro.
I know, and there's way more. The last thing I said to Mark, so you talk to me, you post a story to ruin my life. You give me 40 minutes notice. They promised us we'd have weeks notice.
Right?
40
Gross.
minutes.
Gross.
Yeah. He texted and said, your story goes live at 5 and 6. And it was 20 after
You
4.
showed me the text, yeah, and she
Yeah.
was like, 40 minutes doesn't seem like sufficient time," which it's not.
No, and it went live, and we watched it, and I knew it was coming. My life, I haven't slept since the news story. My eyes, I can barely see. They're so sore from being tired. I've worked so hard for this company. I'm so passionate with our work. Our basements are beautiful, and this is almost destroying me. Like, I mean, this is why I'm doing this, Lisa.
I know
The
you are.
news
Now,
attacked me.
you've had clients. Well, yeah,
Yeah,
this is super fucking personal.
well, it is. Like, I don't know what I did to them. What
Like,
did
it's
I do to
so personal
CTV?
at this point. I don't care what you say, this is so personal. But, so now you've had people reach out to you, past clients, you've had
Yeah,
inspectors, you've had people in trades that have worked
yeah.
alongside you. A lot of these people are in your corner saying, "What the hell's going on? Why is she so angry?"
I've got 7,000 views on YouTube on one of the stories, and everybody's like, "Go after CTV. What did they do?" And you did your research. You said you found companies with 51 charges. We have none.
Right?
We have none.
I know people who have taken $70,000 before the work has even commenced. No materials on site, nothing's been dropped, and they're gone. And you don't read anything about them. Do you remember when,
No.
okay, do you remember in 2020 when there was tons of hail that happened? So
Yes.
I have a restoration background, so I was one of the restorators that was out there, alongside some owners that were bidding on jobs. And
Right.
I was talking with one of the guys that I worked alongside, we walked sites together. He was in a completely different company, and he came on
Right.
my podcast, and we talked about the amount of fly-by-night companies. Where's the news on that?
I know.
CTV, where are you?
Yeah.
Why aren't
I
you
couldn't
talking about them?
When I got the message from Mark Vanilli with CTV News when I was in Home Depot, I thought, "Are you kidding me?" And then when he said it was about Donna, I thought, "What is going on?" And she is so exaggerating everything. She's saying she has security at her house because she thinks I'm coming there. I never want to see her again. I didn't want to see her while I was there. I wasn't there when the police came.
Like high drama though, because in the beginning you talked about it and the story was really like it's all about her brother. Her brother's got MS, brother's coming
Yeah,
down, brother's not even in a wheelchair, but we've got time. Oh, but I want to make it an Airbnb. Like which fucking
right.
is it, lady?
I
Which
know.
is it? You want to
And
make it
she
an
said,
Airbnb? No problem. Just say that. It doesn't
right.
matter regardless. You're going to give a timeline. Basements take
Yeah,
anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks up to 12 weeks, depending on supply and demand. So,
right.
like the way I look at this is you already knew that you were going to be nothing under an 8 week. And then she adds 500 other fucking things to the goddamn list. So now you've
Right.
just increased your time. How much did you even get done in the basement? Because of
Oh, we
course it's
were
going to make you look like shit if you didn't even start in the basement. You started upstairs
Well, you've got to hear this. Okay. In the basement, we did the brand new furnace, all the HVAC, all the electrical. I moved the hot water tank, all the soundproofing, all the poly, all the framing. Everything was done. We were 80% done. If she didn't fire me, I would have been out of there in 3 weeks, complete.
with
We have
drywall
all
paint and baseboard and
drywall
all of that
paint.
base
That's the
case,
easy
everything.
part. The
Yeah, yeah.
part that I've
All the
done so far at
finishing
her
work
house
that
is
needs to get done.
yeah. Plus, we moved all the plumbing. We jackhammered up the whole basement. We
But
moved the stack.
yeah, but no
Like,
one's gonna talk about that. That takes a long
no,
time. The fact that
we
how
did
long did it take you to get it done?
the basement, we had it done in about 60 days
Well, that's good.
with and the upstairs, like everything.
Well, that's good. That's
The
good time.
hardest part, so we had a backhoe there. We took out probably 3 dump trucks full of dirt. It was a brutal dig. I've had 3 other guys that I know that run construction
Mhm,
quote just the wheelchair ramp for between 20 and 30K
mhm.
just for the ramp. There
Yeah.
was a ton of cement going there. There was retaining walls. The news made it look like I charged $70,000 for a basement suite. If you
Yeah,
watch the
no,
news, it
you
doesn't.
didn't. It was
I know.
$50,000 is what you were charging, no extras, and then all the extras that she added onto the list, which is
Right.
where I said, "Don't do that. Split the
Yeah.
invoices up. This is where people
Yeah.
will try to get you. This is where CTV is gonna try and spin it." And not even
Yeah.
CTV necessarily, more or less their reporter, because you
Right.
showed me the documents. You sent him all the documents to show everything was good, so why it was omitted is beyond me. You're supposed to be a non-bias as a journalist,
Yeah. I
right?
begged him to sit with
Yeah.
me.
If a person doesn't have it, you don't need to try and fabricate or omit. It's just gonna
Yeah.
be it doesn't exist. So,
Right.
I don't know why you're so special.
I don't either. I've been trying to figure it out. The one thing I do, Lisa, is my jobs are done. We warranty it for 2 years and they're done nice. Trusted Pros. Now, Donna's put a review on Trusted Pros.
Of course.
They'll remove it, but it takes a few days. But everybody out there know that that review on Trusted Pros is Donna saying it. But all my other reviews are 5-star.
And she's got, like, 2 names she goes by?
Yeah, AKA Robin. Well, here, let's do this. Robin Prindle, AKA Donna Britnell. So she's got 2 names and her husband, James. And
Mhm.
then they put Logan in it, which is a minor. I don't know why he's involved. Like, it's just crazy. And
Who's
I
Logan?
got
Who is that?
her, I guess their son
And he's under the age of 18 or under the age of, like, 12?
under the age of 18, a minor. So he's named, and I've never seen him. She's making me look out to be a psychopath.
Well, and then you said that when we were talking, you said that there was dialogue to you from either side. Like,
Yeah.
he's telling you to hurry up, and you mentioned that earlier in the podcast that he's
Yeah.
telling you to hurry up because she's crazy or something, and she's telling you to hurry up because he's an addict, and,
Yeah.
like, it's so much fucking drama.
And I even tried to talk to him. I said, if you're having a problem with any kind of substance, I'm 13 years sober. I will sit with you. I will talk with you.
Oh my
I
god,
will
you're
go
about
to
to be a sponsor.
Yeah, I offered to take an AA, NA. Like, I have been 13 years clean and sober. I went to treatment, and I wanna get it out there because 'cause I'm not hiding anything. I changed my life. I went to a treatment center, I went to sober living, I got better, and I started doing this, and I put all my time to this. I'm sober, and believe it or not, after all this, I still don't wanna drink. I would die if I drank again,
Mhm.
so I wouldn't, but I've had guys work for me that have issues, that try to stay clean. I've given them jobs. I've offered AA. I've offered to sponsor these guys.
Oh,
I try my hardest. I always try to give back. I don't know why this has happened to me. I don't know what God I pissed off,
I don't
to
think
be
you pissed
honest
any
with you.
god off. I think you're just the catalyst. I think you're the person that needs to come forward and be like, "Sorry, wrong bear. Like, the
Right.
dragon's not dead, it's just sleeping, lady.
Yeah.
Like, you
Like,
put
I don't know
the
if they
wrong
thought,
guy."
I don't know if the news thought I was gonna crawl under a rock, but no way. I've been a fighter my whole life, and I'm alive still today by the grace of God.
Mhm,
CTV News wronged me. Donna wronged me and wronged my partner and made us look horrible, and
mhm,
she needs to be stopped, and so does CTV News.
mhm,
I got so much proof that I begged Mark to meet me at one of my job sites that we were just at the end of with his camera
mhm.
so I could show him what we'd
Well,
done.
no, that doesn't sell anything. Come on now.
No, it doesn't sell anything. So basically, they were out to get me. It's all me.
But
I don't know if Mark.
But
Go ahead.
this is a lesson, Todd, for everybody,
Yeah,
contractors, everybody in all industries, that
yeah,
people will edit, want the clickbait,
yeah.
want to create, they want rage bait, and they don't care who they're hurting. We have
No, they
come
don't.
to it. We've turned into a society when I remember when I was younger and I would watch CTV News because that's who we trusted to get us
Yeah,
the news, to get us the facts. I'm so disappointed. I remember watching the news as a kid with my parents at
yeah.
6 p.m.
Me
every day.
too. Yeah,
You know?
me
We
too.
had it
Yeah,
on channel, whatever, 765, whatever fucking channel it was. It was on one of them low
I
channels.
know.
Not
Yeah,
only like 635, everyone's got freaking satellite now. But we watched it on basic cable. We watched the
right,
news every night. That's who we trusted to get us the information, what was going on in our city. And I'm
right,
like, cool story. This is a civil matter. Why is this even out here? Why
right.
is it tagged to all of CTV News's stations? Why is it tagged to all of her stuff? This is insane. She wants to run her mouth. She can run
Yeah,
her mouth all she wants. Everyone hides behind the Charter of Freedom of Speech and Expression. This is not
right.
speech and expression. This is
Yeah,
defamation,
it is.
right?
And when
Like,
I try to go on the news link and post, they delete it. Like, if you hit CTV News and I can post. So I go on and I'll try to tell the truth, gone. I'll try to say something,
oh,
gone. They
well,
anything
then
Todd
we're
says. So this is why I went to YouTube. This is why I went live on YouTube, because nobody else would listen to me. And I'm not
okay.
going away. I just want to
Fair,
show you
fair.
something.
So CTV, where are you sending it to on CTV? What is it? Is it which social is it under?
So when you Google A to Z building solutions, now CTV News, homeowner's nightmare is the
Yep,
first thing you see.
you got it.
So if I hit that, you can comment on these posts that are being said. So when I try to comment, they remove it. And Donna said, I got a snapshot of Donna saying to somebody on Facebook that, oh, they're trying to post on my news story. They're probably trying to get jobs now that I've destroyed them.
Hmm,
LOL.
hmm.
That's what she said.
Okay.
And she said, but I'm deleting everything that they're posting, Lisa. That's what she said. I just want to show you Mark. I've got every text from Mark Vanilli. I want to show you the last thing I said to this man. Here it is.
Hmm.
Good
Well, it
morning.
seems
So
good.
can you see this? Can you see my phone?
No,
Where is
you
it?
get pulled up to the camera. Move it
Okay.
for move it.
This way, right?
Hang on,
I'm
Michael's in my
trying.
chat. It's okay, it's okay. Don't stress.
Just let me read this really quick. Good morning. So, you left out all the work upstairs is done. You left out we had locates to dig. You left out the restraining order was obtained without merit. You left out she was abusive to our staff. I'm giving you the opportunity to do a follow up interview with me live on camera. If not, there's another news station that I will find. You guys did not tell the truth, Mark. I want a follow up interview. And then he didn't answer me. So the last thing I said, so you try to ruin a person's life and livelihood. Then you stop responding. I hope you sleep well at night, buddy. I'm going to make sure the truth comes out, my friend. That's what I said to him.
So Mark refused balanced journalism. That's
Yes.
exactly what my producer is saying, and he is absolutely accurate. Let's see. He can what is he so my producer's on as a producer right now, and
Yeah.
he's like, "Do I jump in? What's happening?" No,
I
okay.
begged him to listen to me.
So
Begged
here's the
him.
thing. No, and that's fair. So now what we're going to do is I want you to send me his information and we're going to
Okay.
ask him if he wants to come on the podcast and talk about why he didn't do balanced journalism to maybe protect his own name because that doesn't make any sense. Sounds like like an owner that doesn't want to pay, sounds like an owner that is creating more problems than they need to. And now
Right.
a journalist has gone and created a story to fit a narrative. So they refuse to sit and chat with you. Maybe they'll come chat with us. And while we're at it, for all of my podcast fans and listeners, why don't we go to CTV on that, and maybe we try and add a comment to ask for fairness, to ask to sit with Todd? Because right
Right.
now we're not. We're actually, I think we're going to Global, aren't we? We're gonna go chat with Global.
Yeah, and also
Ask if they'll do a follow-up for you. I like
remember,
Global.
CTV News won't do stories on planes landing, guys.
Oh, but
Remember that.
they do stories on turbulence, and I'm
Right.
seeing a lot of turbulence from Dawn's side, so maybe they'll redact
Yeah.
and then come back, you know?
Right.
They do turbulence. So
Yeah. And by the way, we are with the Better Business Bureau.
oh,
Anybody
yeah,
who
you told
wants,
me that.
yeah.
Yeah, just go
So
to the BBB, they're there.
yeah,
Yep.
we are everywhere, and we
So,
do.
just so you know, Todd,
Yeah.
I do speak about this to my all of my wonderful listeners. I say, be careful when you read reviews, because
Yeah.
it's funny how many reviews will come in that are all negative, and because one thing didn't happen. There's always two sides to a story. Most
Right.
owners are not going to go toe to toe online on their review section. They're just going to say, I'm sorry that happened. We're going to work with you to try and figure this out. And that's about all you're going to see. That is the most diplomatic answer, because the last thing people want to see is a like, especially if I'm gonna hire someone, a back and forth, back and forth, back and
Right.
forth. I don't wanna see that, right?
Yeah.
Because 'Cause I'm like, "Oh my god." Like, at first, I'm gonna be like, I might call the owner of the company and be like, "Are you okay?" Or I might call the owner of the company and be like, "Why'd you do that?"
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you gotta be
Yes.
careful when you're doing those types of things.
Right.
Let's see. You sent me Mark's contact. Michael,
There
we
you
have
go.
Mark's contact. We're gonna reach out to him. Maybe we call him online.
Yeah, no kidding. Hold on. I'm going to send you one more thing too, guys. I'm going to give you Don Walton. We don't land planes information. Yeah.
Michael, I'm gonna send this to you. My producer's like the voice of God. Nobody can hear him, right?
Yeah. Like, guys, I have been persecuted. It's crazy what I've been going through. I've never thought this would happen to me, especially when we do such good work and we're such honest people, guys.
Well, that's fair. I mean, I believe that there's always two sides. I say three sides to every story. There's his, hers, and the truth. There's your
Right.
perspective, her perspective, and then the actual truth of the inside of it. So, do
Right.
I see where you went wrong in certain things? Absolutely, I do. I haven't talked
Right.
to her. I got to hear her little news segment that painted her like the poor little victim, which I don't like. I don't like victim mentality. It bothers me. If you are a victim, you are a victim, and I will stand beside and I will not victim shame. But if you're gonna pull the like the sky is falling, or, the boy who cried wolf. I
Yeah.
struggle with that, right?
Right.
I do. Especially because being a female in trades, there is safety concerns. There is concerns, especially being a woman who had her house completely renovated. And I did. I had my house and it was all males inside of my house. You
Yeah.
get nervous, but there's also the other side of that coin where look at all the abuse you guys endured and you're thinking, Jesus,
Yeah.
like who knows what she's gonna say? Well,
Yeah.
she could have said a
I've
lot worse.
put up with so much abuse from customers, Lisa. I'm used to it. I can handle it. Like, I mean, you start doing things for customers and you go above and beyond, and then they keep wanting it. When you stop doing it for free, they get mad at you. I'm fine with that. And if you want to say a review about me because your job looked ugly or the work was bad or anything like that, we warranty our work. I've gone back to jobs 7 times over a little, like on the wall, you'll see a little speck. I've gone back
Yep.
7 times. We warranty our work. And we have a prepaid contractor's license. And I know you know what that is, Lisa.
Yep. Sure do.
Most people don't. Guys
Yeah.
get money down, they can go to jail for it.
Yeah.
It's a crime.
Yeah.
We have it.
Mhm.
We protect our
Yeah, you're
clients.
bonded.
You know,
Yep.
we're bonded.
Yeah. Which is
So,
which is not a lot of contractors do,
no, they don't.
right? So,
And that's what I try to tell people. If there's a bad contractor someone's dealing with, call me. I'll come there for free. I'll talk to this contractor. I'll look at the work. If it's wrong, I'll be there
yeah, it's
anytime.
it's the reason why like owners reps exist. I'm not the only owners rep out there. Owners
Right.
reps exist to make sure that both sides are above board. Both sides
Right.
understand their agreements. Both sides are doing what they're supposed to be doing. And
Yeah.
if the owner has questions, they ask their owner's rep. And the owner's rep should be versed in the area that they're doing the work in.
Right.
Right? And I
Yeah.
mean, like, if you're not 100% versed on something, then you have to make sure you have experts in your corner. I have experts
Right.
in my corner. I had people talk to me about elevators, and I call my experts.
Right.
I've got guys over at Gun Consulting that I call up and go, "Hey, bud, can you take a look at something for me?" "Sure, no problem, Lisa." And they
Yeah.
do. And I'm like, you know what? This seems like a really great job. I'm going to throw you guys a bone and you guys can go help me on this because I don't know enough about elevators. So, hey, you guys are the ones to talk to. But,
Right.
like that's what I'm talking about. You got to have experts in your corner. And so as
Yep.
owners reps, we come in and we talk about that. And you're making yourself a subject matter expert to say, "Hey, I don't want to come and necessarily take your job, but I want to make sure you're
Right.
getting what you want." So, I
Right.
want to work with this contractor to say, "Hey, bud, I've been called in as a subject matter expert. I'm gonna take a quick look at your stuff. Let's come with me. Come walk with me. You're not this is where people get like, they get egos and they're like, oh, he's gonna try and take the work. And it's like, no, I have enough work.
No.
I'm good.
Yep.
I want to help you be better because they have some concerns. And I also want to make sure they're educated by
Yep.
saying, hey, you know what? He's doing everything he's supposed to. I've been that person, Todd. I've
Yep.
gone on site to
Yep.
a corporation, a condo corporation, and they were like, is the contractor doing their job? And you know what? It was a contractor that I knew, that I'd worked
Yep.
alongside, that has a great reputation for
Yep.
their exterior work, and the guy that they had on it, one of my favorites. He's customer forward, he's very customer forward facing, he doesn't hide anything. I called him up and said, "This is what I need. I'm being asked to check your work." He gave me all his subs, he gave me the plans, he gave me the reports, everything right now. And I'm like, "These are the guys I want. These are the guys I wanna work with." Right? And I walked over there and I sent them a report giving the contractor a glowing review saying, yes, not
Yep.
only are they doing everything they're supposed to be doing, it's a little bit of an overkill for some of the things they've had, but you guys have had a lot of damage and you guys had people that did this. So now it's done right. There should be zero problems.
Right.
I was there for water testing. I was there for this. I was there for that. They did a great job. I don't have any issue. They may continue. You don't require me.
Right.
They're doing their job, and you guys have a very
Yep.
client forward facing person that's
Yep.
not going to schmooze you. He's going to back it up with reports and who's doing what and why it's being charged this. He's
Yeah.
very forward facing. So those are things that I like because you got to be careful with the schmoozers, right? The guys that just,
Yep.
just
I know.
talk a lot of shit.
And like you said, Lisa, I've got all the paperwork to back I can take a
You
house
do.
apart and build it myself. I can take a furnace apart, a boiler apart, and rebuild it myself. I've been doing this
Just
a
do me
long
a
time.
favor. Do me a
Yeah.
favor. Pull your documents up to the camera. So, because I've seen it, but
Okay.
I want everybody that's going to be able to see this podcast be able to see your documents.
You want me to show what I had at her house? Or do you want to show let me show A to Z.
A to Z. Oh, okay,
Yes.
we're gonna link it. Okay, so don't worry,
Yes.
we're gonna link your. So thank you, Michael. Sorry, my
Okay.
voice of God came in. So he
No
said we're
doubt.
gonna because no one else can hear him but us, so I call him the voice of
Okay.
God. So there,
It
he said
shows every document,
we're
Lisa.
gonna link your YouTube video.
Okay.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes. Thanks, Michael. You guys, I so appreciate this. I've done nothing wrong, guys. Nothing. Maybe, maybe something with the invoice. We can fix that.
You've done nothing wrong on what she's claiming,
Right.
right?
Right. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
You've made some mistakes as a contractor so that you've opened yourself up for this type of interpretation, which
Right.
sucks. And I'm not saying that you deserve any of this because you
Yeah.
don't. But this is
Thank
where
you.
I come in and I say to you, tighten this shit up, Todd.
I will. Yeah.
Yes.
My kids are
For your
devastated.
protection.
My grandkids on YouTube saying, I love you, Papa, because they're upset. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like, I
of
mean,
course.
I've always worked hard. Once I got sober and clean and I work 7 days a week, 12, 13 hours a day. I'm taking 100-pound rocks out of houses at nighttime, It's just been very hard on me. And I can't believe I'm still talking properly when I haven't slept for 2 weeks.
Sorry. My kid will keep texting me, and because he's on an emergency bypass, it'll keep going. "Doot, doot, 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 doot."
Yes.
So he's asking me for something that can wait, but kids,
Yes.
ants in a
I
can,
know. Yeah.
right? Okay.
So why is the news picking on me, Lisa? Why?
That's the $1,000,000 question, Todd.
It
That's
is.
why I wanna reach out to Mark and I wanna say, "Hey, why pick up this story? Help me understand."
Yeah.
And I'm hoping he'll respond. I doubt he will.
So I
But
got
I hope he
some
does.
advice
I hope he
from
does.
somebody who said the reason that he thinks this story was picked up because of the wheelchair. They wanted the
Yeah.
wheelchair sympathy. And I
Yeah,
said,
but,
really?
she's all over the place, allegedly. Do you have documents? You have text messages that are like, "Oh, she said this or she said that," or was she a little careful about that?
She was careful, but she made it crystal clear that her brother was still not in a wheelchair, that he has MS and
Mhm.
it's going to happen. But she was more doing Airbnb.
Well, why
She
throw that
wanted
out in the universe?
upstairs.
Everybody with MS ends up in a wheelchair. Why throw that out in the universe? Come on
Yeah.
now.
So he is not in a wheelchair yet. She told me that.
And that's amazing. She should be
Yeah.
celebrating the fact that her brother's not in a wheelchair yet. MS is a
Right.
horrible disease to have.
It
Horrible.
is.
I
Yeah.
don't wish what goes on. I have friends, I have family that have MS, and let me tell you something, it can get bad, but if through diet and, you know, repetitive movements and just I mean, there's just some days it triggers and
Yeah.
you don't move, and it is fucking horrible. But
Yeah.
to be like, "Oh, well, he's not there yet," and, like, it's just only a matter of time, like, how nonchalant of you, like, it's very insensitive. As a
Yeah.
sibling, that's very insensitive,
Well, and Mark knows nothing because she's pointing to the ceiling where we dropped it for the HVAC, and Mark puts the camera up there, and she's going, "I don't know why
It's an
they did
8-foot
this."
ceiling, it's a basement.
If Mark had let me tell my story and come see me, I could have explained it all, but he wouldn't meet me. I tried.
Mhm.
I
I
tried to
got
meet
my
with Mark.
basement done, but it's not a suite, so I didn't
Yeah.
have to read you all the things that you did. I have a
Right.
9-foot ceiling, it's a
Yeah.
basement.
Right. It's a basement. Yeah. And even though we dropped the HVAC, it was still high. Like it was
I was
still,
excited. I was excited when he told me it was a 9-foot ceiling. I was like, "Really?"
yeah, no kidding. Yeah.
I was like, "Awesome." Oh, yeah,
Let's
that
talk
is a
about
good
that.
point. That is a good
Yeah.
point. So, my voice of God came in and said, "We need to point out the fact that she is 6 feet tall standing in that picture, so it's making it look like it's a lot lower." So, remember, we got an 8-foot ceiling and she's 6 feet. So, when
Right.
everyone's looking, she's not a petite woman. She
No,
might be petite in frame, but she is not in height.
no, she's a tall woman. She's taller than me. I'm only 5'9".
Oh, yeah, she towered you. So
She
she used her
towered
little
me.
she looked down at you. She
Yeah.
gave you
And once again, her her bedroom door was 36-inch. A wheelchair can go in there.
Yeah,
We
and we
asked
also
her,
note yeah, we sorry, and we did note that the wall fixtures or sorry, the switch lights, the switch plates and all of the
yeah,
lighting was lowered. We noted that
it
right away in
was.
the pictures. Yeah,
And the bathroom, we were just waiting for the jetted tub to arrive
yep,
because we didn't know where to put our
we
tub
saw the
filler.
sink. Yeah, I saw the drawings for the sink.
You
Yeah,
saw the drawings. So
yep.
5 times we asked for the tub and she just kept yelling at us. Well, I don't know where it is. I haven't gotten it yet. That's how she was every time you would ask her a question, to the point that I blocked her.
Snippy. It's
Yeah.
really yeah, snippy and snarky.
I blocked her in the most peaceful, calm, we're two totally different people.
Mhm.
But she said to Donna, please, can we just get through this civilly? Very nicely. And it
Well
just went,
clearly
yeah,
she's not civil, and
no.
clearly CTV's journalist didn't realize that this was a civil matter.
I don't know what he thought. He thought I
Because
was
you
a
even had
crazy.
Calgary police tell you that, didn't you? This is a civil matter.
Yeah, I got 2 statements from the police because she called them twice and they said, listen, it's civil. We went to court for the restraining order and she was yelling at me. And I had to go across the courtroom and get a police officer to come over and tell her to stop. And then he said to her, obviously, you're the problem here because you won't stop.
This was in a courtroom?
This was in a courtroom 2 weeks ago.
So regarding what? What were
The
you in court
restraining
for?
order.
For the restraining order. So
We're
she had
trying to
put a
get it
restraining
removed.
order talking about
Yep.
how one of your trucks was parked across her street. Does she have any
No
pictures or
proof.
no proof?
No
Just,
proof. Just
"I
set it
feel
out
unsafe
there.
in my home."
I've
This
got
guy's drama,
security
eh?
outside.
Were you stalking her?
Absolutely not.
I got
You know, I,
that question.
I don't want to go near her. And to be
Okay.
honest with you, I
Were any
haven't
of your
been
guys
near
did any of your guys have to return to pick anything up? Did
nothing.
any one of your company vehicles had to return to the residence for any way, shape, or form? Does somebody have a friend across the street?
No. Can I tell you one thing? Our trucks are marked. The back of our trucks say A to Z Building Solutions in bright letters. If we were there to snap a picture, you
Mhm.
would have caught us.
Okay, I
I can
think
show you our trucks. I'll show you later.
yeah, yeah, sounds good. Michael, I know I saw your little bubbles come up.
Yeah.
Were you gonna say
Michael's
something?
coming in. Exactly.
Yeah,
She has
no cell
security on
phone to
site, but they
take a
didn't.
picture. She's talking about how she has
Right.
security, but she has no evidence. And then
Yeah.
what was the other thing you said, Michael? Oh, do the trucks have trackers? Do your trucks
Well, we
have
have
trackers?
shared locations.
We have shared locations.
We have shared
Does it
locations.
show a link of those shared locations? Like, can you pull up and show the locations of where you were at any time?
I'll find out. I'll ask the boss.
Is it a Find My or like what is it?
Yes, it's a find my location. Yeah.
Sometimes there's a tracking aspect. You can see all of the locations within the last 2 weeks. It'll show like
Okay.
little pins. Sometimes I don't know. I mean, I know that with my kids, I can because I have a Find My
Right.
on my tracking my children. I want to know where these little shitters are,
We have to.
especially when they're teenagers. I got to know where they are. I get nervous.
Yeah.
I'm like a partial helicopter
How many
parent.
do you have?
Two.
2.
I got 2 babies. They're my babies. They're always gonna be my
Yes,
babies, and you know this, you have kids of your own. They're always
I
gonna be your
do.
babies.
Yeah. I have 4 girls and 1 boy.
4 girls.
Yeah.
I was a busy house. I got one and one. I got the
Yes.
$1,000,000 family. I got rid of the dad, but I got $1,000,000
Just I'm trying to show you one thing. Where is it? It should be right here. Oh, there it is. You got to see. I'm just going to send this to you, Lisa.
Send
So
it.
if we were ever near her, check this out. This is our 2 trucks. Look at this picture. You're gonna tell me that she couldn't have snapped that if I was at her house or taken a video? Like, come
I am.
on.
Look at
I
that.
know if look at that. So she
No,
said, "I can
couldn't have got
describe
it.
Todd's truck." She says this to the cop. My truck was out front of her house for 90 days when I was working there. She knows our truck. She can describe them, right? But if I was there, you could have taken a
Somebody with
video, said,
Hey, everybody
"Yeah,
has a doorbell cam or some
right,
sort of a TELUS or some sort of, you know what I mean, like security.
right,
There's so many. Okay, so on my street alone,
yeah,
actually, I won't even do that. I'll say between 5 neighbors to my left and 5 neighbors to my right,
yeah,
2 don't have security.
right."
So
You're right.
that's over 10 houses.
Yeah,
And out of those 10 houses, 3 of us have multicam. So I have a camera going this way, one at my door,
yes,
one behind, and another house 4 houses down has it. And
yeah,
then there's another house I think just up from me has the same thing. So we have angles, and then we also have and now that's just the ones on my side. That's not the
right,
ones across the street. They all have
yeah,
cameras. So what, you're not friends with your neighbors?
exactly. Knock on their door, say, "You're
My
being
neighbor Yeah,
stalked,"
my neighbors
right?
text me. They're like, "Hey," well, clearly, Michael, she's not friends with her neighbors.
Well, there was already posts from other contractors that worked for her saying that she's nuts, that he did a job for her and she was absolutely nuts.
"Okay, where's this? I gotta go find it."
Yeah,
Michael, no, that wasn't in the news
exactly.
article. It wasn't in the news article that she's a wingnut. Cool. So,
Yeah,
which
because
other con
she can delete news articles, guys.
of
Whatever,
course,
she can delete it. It's her news, and for whatever reason, she's
damning to
linked
her
to it.
character, Todd. How could she keep that up there?
I know.
Awful.
It's awful. Like, I mean,
Where are these articles from other contractors that say she's a wingnut?
I'll find them for you and I'll send them to you. I will.
Do it, 'cause Michael and I have to be thorough, and we're gonna ask Mark why these weren't put in.
Exactly.
Michael's gotta do his job because he's not fucking doing it.
Mark was out to get me, and I don't know. And I seen Mark. He's just a little. I seen him on the news story, but he tried to ruin my life, and I still don't know what I've done to the man. I have
You
no
haven't
idea
done
what I've done
anything.
to him.
You haven't done
Yeah,
anything to him. This is all about clicks. He probably got paid for his story. Like I said, Michael will send you the email. I will forward your email to Michael in regards to the email that was forwarded to CTV News Desk asking in regards to editorial review and overview because we want to know. I mean, we're technically not journalists. Like Michael and I aren't
yeah,
journalists, but we're sitting here and we're looking at this story and we're like,
yeah,
you still have to do your due diligence.
yeah,
You still have a duty of care. If I want to smear Donna's name,
yeah.
I gotta do my due diligence. I gotta
Right,
look her up. I gotta talk to her. And you know what? She'll get an opportunity to come on the podcast and talk to me. Hell, I'll bring you both on at the same time and you both can
right,
talk to me so that everyone can hear. Because there's always going to be her side, his side, and the truth. That's what everyone says, right? And
right,
we're all about devil's advocate. Like I said, and you know what? Thank you for taking it on the chin when I said to you, you know what? These are some of the things you did wrong. And you just went, yep, you're right. Yep, there
you
was
are
red
right.
flag. Yep, no
Yep.
problem. That shows me that you have integrity.
Yes, thank you.
And I'm like, "Cool, you are willing to take accountability for the things you did wrong." Did you threaten her? Yeah,
No,
you
not with
told
violence.
not with violence, you threatened her
No,
with a lien, and I said,
right,
"That's not a threat, that's education.
right. Yeah,
I have recourse too, lady."
right.
So, and I mean, but at the end of the day, it looked like she paid for quite a bit. How much was actually paid?
Okay, so at the end of the day, she paid 70.
Okay,
Okay, we were just about to. The reason she paid 70 is because James phoned me and said, I need her out of my house. So what do
okay,
I have to do? And I said, send me another 10,000 so I can pour the cement. Right. I thought we were, the one thing you can't do is be friends with your customers
no.
because as soon as something goes a bit weary, right? So she paid 70 in total. We were about to pour the cement that week.
Did she pay or did somebody else pay?
So that's what you need to know as well. She didn't pay any of this because
So who
they
paid it?
said yeah, James. They said
Oh, James paid it.
James paid it. They said that Todd was talking to James when it was with Donna. No, every check that Todd got was from James. Yeah,
So
Donna
who
didn't
owns
pay a
the house?
dime.
The house.
James.
James owns the house.
Okay. So Donna owns the house in Abbeydale. It was her dad's. Her dad died. She got the
Okay,
house. The house that they live in Chaparral, James owns.
okay.
And I'm telling you, I wish I recorded these conversations of him telling me to get her out of the house because she's nuts. And then her crying in the kitchen to me and Nick about James doing cocaine and she doesn't know what to do. And then
Just
I said, can
defamation
I
all over
help
the
him?
place. Just
Well, I
defamation
looked
all over
right at her
the
and
place.
I said, I'll help him. Do you want me to talk to him? She said,
Yep.
no, stay out of it. You know,
No,
I
stay
would have
out of
helped
it.
him.
So does he really have a problem or like
Well,
why
if
are
you
you
see,
airing this out?
yeah.
Why does this concern you and your worker? Why does this concern anybody?
Yeah, why
What
is she telling
what
us
does
that he has a
James's
cocaine addiction?
addiction problem have anything to do with you guys and your work?
Right.
What does her being a wingnut have anything to do, well, it does now because, she's the but what does
Yeah.
her, in his opinion, being crazy have anything to do with you guys? So they live in Chaparral, or she lives in Abbeydale and he lives in Chaparral.
So they both live in Chaparral.
Okay,
Want to
and
hear
now they're
another
getting a
red
divorce,
flag?
so now they're splitting up allegedly.
Allegedly splitting up, and she's going to
Allegedly.
Abbeydale.
Okay.
That's why he said finish the upstairs quick. She said it too.
But
Finish
yet
the
she want
upstairs.
okay. This sounds so fucking weird. So
Yeah.
now help me understand here as we talk about this. Has
Okay.
anyone asked for any money back?
No.
Okay. Are you prepared to take the loss in whatever is remaining or owed because you haven't been able to complete the project?
Yes.
And how much would you be taking a loss on?
About 8,000, 9,000.
Okay. So you're willing to wash it.
I'll wash it.
Yeah. Okay. And have
Yeah.
they taken a loss in any of the monies that they've put out in regards to time and material?
Absolutely not.
Okay.
I can prove every dime that was spent at their house.
Okay. So when you take the wash for $8,000, is that time or is that material or is it both?
That's time.
That's
Like,
time.
her kitchen was already done. Her
Okay.
handicap kitchen.
Okay.
We had it all drawn out, approved. I showed you the picture yesterday, remember? But it's on the YouTube link.
When CTV was there, though, they showed that it wasn't quite like there was no drywall up.
No, that was all we had left. Drywall, tape, and mud and paint. We do that in a week.
Okay.
So the reason the
Has that
drywall
all been
wasn't up
okay?
is because, Lisa, the framing inspection had just happened and all the inspections. That's why we hadn't drywalled.
Okay, so you're talking about $8,000 of work that was completed before so there's nothing else that's been billed. So that would have been part of the $50,000.
So what I think right now,
What was left?
honestly,
Like, what was left? Like, I'm trying to do so people understand, right? So I'm
yeah,
understanding you, but I want to make sure that I'm clear with people that are listening that don't understand construction at its fullest. Right
okay.
now, you guys did $8,000 worth of time that is still owing.
So this is what I want to do. This is what I was going to talk to her, but I can't talk to her. Obviously, that's a long time ago.
'Kay.
Any money that's left owing, she can have to finish the project. I'm not going after it. We
'Kay.
didn't get a chance to drywall because of what happened. So any
Right.
money outstanding is a write off to me. It's
Okay.
hers.
So she's paid upwards of 76,000 is what the news is saying. Is that correct?
No, 70, I
70.
think.
And out of
Yes.
that 70,000, because the basement is worth 50,000.
Yeah.
So how much was owed for the other items? Were the other
Okay.
items actually
So
26,000 or were they more?
this is what has to be noted. It's very important. The
Okay.
main floor demolition, the new laundry upstairs, the new
Mhm.
flooring upstairs,
Yep.
the new window,
Yep.
the new garage door,
Yep.
the excavation,
Okay.
the kitchen cabinets, the
Mhm.
handicap cabinets, all that was done. We were literally going to start pouring. As soon as we had a nice day, we were going to pour the wheelchair ramp. So what James said to me is he'll give me some money up front. We had a chat to get out faster. That was between me and James. And of course, it wasn't in text. He wouldn't text me. He would phone me.
Of course.
Yeah. I still even said to Mark, Vanilli, I will finish the basement and the ramp. She fired me. I'm not running away. I said, Mark, I will finish it. I'm not running away. I offered to finish it. I offered her to finish it. I offered James to finish it.
I'm trying to understand how this has escalated so much. So, because I want to make sure that I break down this bill, right? Because there's
Okay.
a lot of noise inside of everything. So I want to make sure that everyone's understanding how we can break down this bill, because that's also a big thing, because we can already prove that you had all the permits and all the other documentation that you required,
Right.
and that it's just escalated to this insaneness. So I want to
Yeah.
make sure that this is where my brain is going, because I'm an owner's rep, right? So I'm looking
Right.
at this bill and I'm saying to myself, okay, first of all, if you were to have taken both bills, if you were to have split both of those, all of the things that you've done, if you split them up accordingly, so you have the basement, then you said the wheelchair ramp was additional.
Yes.
Okay, so the basement alone was 50,000.
The
The
basement.
ramp was
just-
additional.
Yes.
Ramp was additional, and then all the additional work to get everything up to par for that house
Yes.
not to have fires and not to have, like, electrical, because you're saying that so she needed to change out her panel. Her panel was too small.
It was too small.
She needed to go to a 200 amp.
200 amp. Yes.
Right. And would the house have facilitated a 200 amp? Like, that's like, we're sounding like major electrical
30 grand.
upgrade.
30 grand.
Okay.
To do a 200 amp, and Max, they would have come out. We would have had to dig a new line. It would have been crazy expensive.
Yep.
So
Okay.
I ran gas for her.
Gas was the better way to go.
Gas is the better way to go.
More
Yeah,
in gas.
money wise. I tried through the whole thing, Lisa, to save her money.
Yeah,
Through
yeah,
the whole
makes sense.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, her gas bills would have gone up, but
Yeah,
essentially she would have saved money on the backside of not having to upgrade her electrical panel because, yeah, there's a
right.
lot of work that goes into that. Okay.
And in that
So
price, a sub panel was included as well. We were installing a sub panel.
okay, so you were doing a sub panel up and above in order to facilitate the basement.
Yes.
Okay.
So a sub panel and gas made it so we did not have to do a 200 amp panel.
Okay. But you were still, when you were redoing all of the HVAC and all of these other items, it wasn't just for the basement, it was also for the main floor, right?
Yes.
Okay.
A lot of the ductwork was 80 years old.
Okay. So I wanted to make sure I understood that.
Yep.
So,
All
okay.
the
So
water lines were starting to leak.
what was the cost if you were to break out all of the additional work that had to be done,
Yeah,
including even, I mean, I know you, I don't know why you dumped her basement, her contents, and then dumped it for free. I don't, you're,
I know.
listen here, stop that.
Yeah,
I get the same finger wag. Don't do that shit.
yeah.
Michael gets the same finger wag. Don't do that shit. 'Cause we're
Three,
nice people. It's because we're nice people. So okay.
yes,
So
three of
we're
us
gonna
all day took her furniture out for her. Three of us up the stairs, through the house, out the back to the garage. And then she was
yeah,
yelling at guys to be careful when we were doing it for free.
well then hire someone to do it. Call some movers in. What's that? And
Yeah,
moving company.
change the name. Yeah,
Michael says A to Z building solutions and moving company.
yeah,
Stop doing contents. Charge
I
for
will.
it. And you need
Yeah.
insurance for it because if you damage anything, then they come after you for that. Meanwhile, you're doing them a solid. Surprised she
Oh,
didn't
just
do
so
that
you
shit.
know, we have 5 million insurance, guys.
Yeah, but that's what they're coming after. And then you have to get people to sign waivers. Do you get them to sign
No, I know.
waivers?
No,
I'm
yeah.
gonna stick my
I just
finger
want
at
everybody
you.
everybody out there has to know we have 5 million insurance. We're covered commercial
Doesn't matter
and
if you have
residential.
5 million insurance. That's why they're coming after you. You don't want them to trigger your insurance
No,
policies. No
we've never
more.
used it.
Don't do contents anymore unless you get them to
No,
sign a waiver that says if your shit is damaged, it's not my problem. You asked me to do it and I'm not a fucking mover. So
right.
get waivers.
Yeah,
Don't do
I
it for
will.
free.
I won't.
If you want to give them a discount because you're being a nice guy, then say that. Say, we don't normally move stuff. If you want us to move stuff, A, there's a cost. I can give you a minimal cost, $500 for us
Right,
to move it, even if you know it's going to be like 5,000, but then don't sell
right,
yourself short either. But then say, here's this wonderful little waiver that says if we damage anything, it's not our problem.
right. I'm
Your
learning so
insurance will
much
thank
from you.
you. Your
Yeah,
insurance.
you're right.
Well, I don't want you to end up back here. These are
Never.
like I say on my. Do you want to know what my motto is on my show?
What?
It's learn and grow or get crushed by your ego.
Right. That's true.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So I'm glad you're taking some of this information in because I'm telling you this is crazy. Okay, so
yeah,
what was not, so if she's done $70,000, the basement was 50.
yeah.
What was not what how much money in the basement was not completed?
I would say probably so I had to buy the drywall tape and mud. I would say the flooring was there,
Mhm.
so maybe 5 grand.
5 grand was not completed.
Yeah.
You did 8,000 before the 3-week shift was out and that hasn't been paid for. Is that correct?
Right, so
Or is this what would have been completed?
yes, this is what would have been completed.
So they've been paid up. So they've paid you up to date, essentially. So by them
Yes.
saying, if we're being straight,
Yeah.
so you don't need any money from them.
No,
You can just walk away. You can say, there's
I can
no
walk
more
away.
owed. No more owed. Is there anything
Yeah.
that you could give back that hasn't been charged or that has been charged but hasn't been done?
Well, what you gotta be careful right now is she's spreading rumors out that everything has to be ripped out and started over, which
Yeah,
is a
but that's
lie
her.
because
I don't give a shit about that. Like,
oh, okay.
everyone's gonna say that. Oh, they got to rip it out and redo it because nothing was done right. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Whatever, princess.
Yeah,
So
but it was
don't
all
care about that.
passed by the city of
I'm
Calgary.
looking at finding solutions for you. If you can
Yeah,
sit down, look at your books and say, okay, you know what? We've done this, we've
yeah,
done this, and we've
yeah,
done this. And this is what it technically costs brass tacks, both for time and material.
yeah,
Okay. Now,
yes,
we haven't been able to finish the last 3 weeks, which would have done all finishing work, which would have been all her drywall, all this, all that. Is the drywall
yeah,
on site?
no,
Okay. So
yeah,
those are costs that aren't going to be burdened to them because you can return the drywall or you can move it to a new project
right.
when you get a new project. Okay?
Yeah,
We know that. So that's where I say to you, if you're looking at all of the items and you say to yourself, you know what, I can write whatever off, or I can call this a wash, or I can send back X amount of dollars because we didn't finish this portion. Do you
yeah,
understand?
I do.
Okay.
I might be willing to send some back.
Okay. So let's talk. What are you willing to send back? If you could send her back something, what would it be?
Well, what
But
I'm
like,
worried about right now is I gotta sue her for defamation, you know that.
yes, but before we get there, because right
Yeah,
now it's, anybody can talk shit. Like, let's be realistic. Donna's
yeah,
one person. She's pissed off. She takes to Facebook. She takes to fucking Instagram. She takes to TikTok. She's fucking whining her ass off. Whoever will
yeah,
fucking listen to her. And a lot of people do that shit. Everybody fucking does that shit. God damn it.
yeah,
Todd, I whine about the fucking government on the daily. Okay. So
right. Yeah,
you know what I mean? We can all do that. We can all talk our shit. But if we take Donna out of the equation, because technically, what did Donna say that a respected journalist would have taken and said, "Oh yeah, we can run with this," and not done
yeah,
his journalism, right? So this is really comes down to the journalist
yeah,
and CTV. Really,
yes,
Donna's just a vessel. Okay?
yeah,
It's just a story. And really, if he did his due diligence and, like Michael said, what did he say? He said, so Mark refused balanced journalism. Had he done
yes,
his job as a journalist
yeah,
properly,
yeah,
this story would have never aired. Sure, you would have taken a couple of lumps somewhere. She would have sent something to the BBB. They would have called you. You would have straightened it out. You know what I mean? You would have been able to shut this down and bring it down, and you probably wouldn't have lost a few contracts right now because it would have
right,
never made it to CTV. Because, like every friggin' contractor who's gone through something similar where they blast you online because they're pissed off about something. But a
yeah,
lot of times where I think you need to make good for yourself,
yeah,
you need to split these 2 up. You need to
yeah,
say, "Okay, Donna and James are over here, not happy with what's going on, lot of drama, don't fucking care, but I'm willing to send back X amount. I'm willing to, work on this and send back this amount in order to move forward for them." And sit down and think about it. I'm not gonna ask you to put a number out now. I
no,
want you
you
to
know
sit
what?
down and think about how you could rectify it with them and then go after CTV and this journalist, Mark Vanelli or whatever, because
Yeah,
I wanna call him and I wanna ask him. I wanna call the editorial side, the newsroom and say, "Who wants to have a conversation about this?" But really, you and I have already talked about this. We've got our contact at Global TV, so we're gonna send it all to them and say, "Hey,
yeah,
Hmm.
and
Abuse goes
honestly,
both ways. Yeah, alternative media as well. I was having a conversation. We talked about alternative media. Well, we can rile up those guys over at Rebel and Vice and whatnot
yeah. So to be
because
honest,
it's not
Lisa, I do
fair.
wanna say one thing.
Yes.
James did send me $10,000 to pour the cement because he wanted Donna nothing to do with her. I didn't get to pour the cement because I'm fired.
Mhm.
So if I ever had to give it back, I would give the 10 grand back because
Well,
I
that's
didn't
good.
get to
Maybe you
pour the
should do
cement.
that. If you're an honest guy with a lot of integrity, I'd send that 10 grand back for the concrete if it never got poured. I'd send it
Yeah,
back.
yeah. But
Yeah.
now, what about so far the 100,000 I've lost because of her? Help me
But it's
with
not
that.
because of her. It's because a journalist picked it up and ran it on a news segment. She's one person.
It's because of the news, right? It's
She's
not her.
one
It's
person. She's one
right,
person. She's one person with a big mouth.
right. Yeah,
Everybody's got an asshole, everybody's got an opinion, everybody has an opportunity to put it online.
that's true. You're right. It wouldn't have
She's
never. I wouldn't have
one
lost work
person.
over one mad
Don't get me
person.
wrong, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, "Oh, poor Donna, blah, blah, blah," but I am gonna say, as an owner's representative, I gotta look at both sides, and if
Yeah,
you're saying that James sent you the 10, you didn't
yeah.
pour, send it back.
Okay.
That's what I would say to you. You know
Yeah.
what? Your beef might be with them originally, that's the civil case, right? But at the same time, how this exacerbated itself and evolved into a fucking news segment
I know.
to bury you beyond
Yeah.
me. This is clickbait. This is rage bait. This is insane. Like I'm
Yeah.
not gonna lie. I'd be like, hey, Mark, you did your job because I'm pissed right off. I'm coming for you, bud.
Yeah,
I'll
like,
see you on podcast. Like, what are you doing?
they're trying to make me look psycho. If I was any kind of psycho, you wouldn't do this.
They have rules and regulations set out
Right.
by the CRTC as well as the Canadian Broadcasting Council. They have
Yeah.
rules.
Yeah. So what can I do to get reimbursed from CTV? How do I go after them?
Well, we talked about this. Remember? So I told you. Yeah, get a lawyer.
Okay.
Michael's singing get a lawyer.
Yeah. Okay. Because I'm going after them, Lisa.
You've got to get a lawyer. I remember I told you there's one out here in Airdrie that's an amazing guy. You can talk to him. There's so many lawyers out there. Go to a lawyer, give them all your information, talk to them about the different avenues you might want to take, whether it's, however it looks like. I mean, there's a Alberta Defamation Act. There's all kinds of stuff, but lawyer, you've got to
Okay.
lawyer up.
Okay.
You've got to lawyer up. And the fact that you're willing to send back 10 grand to James shows it's good faith. It's not, it's like, you know what? I didn't do it. Here you go.
Yeah.
Like, this is why you have the pre-approved contractor.
Yes.
It's for reasons like this that you're willing to say, you know what? I didn't pour. I can give that back to him. Give it back to him.
As soon as I sign a job, I will. You know what I mean? Money is getting so tight right now.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. You've got
Yeah.
trades to pay, you've got guys to pay, you've got
Yeah. We got right now, we got
insurances
our
to
last
pay, trucks
I
to
got
pay.
all my guys to pay, the trucks to pay, our mortgage to pay. My phone's not ringing. It used to ring. I'd sign a basement a week. It hasn't rang since the news story.
No bueno.
Yeah.
Well, this is gonna air tomorrow because we
Yeah.
pre-record everything, and my listeners know that. So this is gonna air tomorrow, and we're gonna clip it, we're gonna send it to you, and we're gonna send a copy to, probably CTV editorial desk as well as to Global,
Okay.
and I'm hoping, like, I mean, I can shit all over Mark, but let's be honest, I hope Mark comes and has a chat with me. I do.
Yeah.
And
Me
I
too.
hope and I hope Donna and James do too, because you know what? I think that there's always room for growth and understanding. But I'll tell you
Yeah.
right now, if she is as aggressive, I guess I'll say,
You'll
as
see.
if she's as aggressive as you say, I probably would just be like, okay, that's enough for today.
Yeah.
Or knowing Michael be like, come on, Lisa, it's devil's advocate.
Yeah.
That's what he always said to me.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Give him enough rope.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna wrap up. You have
Okay.
so much. We're gonna tag you on everything. We're gonna tag your YouTube on this. This
Okay.
is absolutely not fair. I appreciate for who you are coming to the table, telling your story because you are not the only contractor to be abused, railroaded, and sideswiped.
Okay.
I think there needs to be a change. I think there needs to be a
Yeah.
systemic change inside of industry. There's so many issues.
Right.
Todd, thank you so much.
Thank you.
I hope you can sleep at night. I want you to know that we're on your side. We're on your side in the respect of that this is completely unfair.
Thank you.
That this news segment should have never ran, that this is a
Thank you.
civil matter.
I can handle a person being mad at me. That's fine. But when they went to the news, that did it, Lisa.
Yeah. We've
I
done it
would,
for everybody. And you know
yeah.
what? Stay in the space that you need to stay to remain sober.
Yes, I will.
Do not let one person undo all of the hard work that you've done. And you know
Right.
what? I will tell you this too. If for whatever reason you slip,
Yeah.
start again.
Yeah.
Okay? Don't
God's
beat
with
your
us, Lisa.
Don't beat yourself up if you slip, but go see your sponsors, go to AA meetings, do whatever you need to do so this does not push you back into, getting back into wherever it was. I mean, AA is lots of different things. So, but
I appreciate it.
I want you to know that there is going to be a lot of people that are in your corner, and there's already people in your corner. They've reached out to you, and that's
Yes.
your beacon to say, it's not my time to do anything stupid. I've
Yeah.
got people in my corner.
And I got a lot of customers that need nice renovations done.
Yes.
I'm going to help everybody I can.
Yes, and like I said to all of I've said it before, I've said it once, I'll say it 100 times. Don't always believe everything you see on reviews.
Thank
So,
you.
if you need a
Yes.
beautiful basement, go to Instagram at A to Z Building Solutions and look at the work he does and judge for yourself.
Thank you.
You're
That's all I
welcome.
ask.
Yeah, you're welcome. I hope you guys will join me next week when I do my regular. This is going to be a bonus one that's coming out today. So, as for everybody, thanks for listening. Thank you, Todd, for being a part of the show.
Thanks for having me.
And we'll catch you guys on the flip side. Don't do anything crazy.